guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is August 25th, 2021, and this is the Flight Sim News. So first up is some pretty cool news from Microprose. Haven't heard nothing from these guys in a while, but the latest is that they're working with the 100th Bomb Group Foundation and they're collaborating on the new B-17 game. Now, notice how they call it a game, and this is what I was getting back to before when I had mentioned when they released the news that it was going to be more of a game than a simulation. So just keep that in mind, guys. I think it's going to be historically accurate, and they go on in this post to talk about how it's going to be respectful and historically authentic in approach, blah, 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 which is a nice little read. But at the same time, it's definitely going to be more of a game than it is a simulation, but that doesn't mean it won't be cool. I mean, to me, it sounds just like kind of going to the air museum, you know, checking out the planes, getting in the mocked up cockpits, fooling around with the stick, the throttle, pushing some buttons, you know. I think it's going to be the same thing with this. I think it's going to be a great game at the end of the day. It's just a little bit of a bummer that it's not going to be the simulation. So I'd like to see Microprose, you know, do some cool simulation stuff again and come back and be that company that, you know, we're all cozy and nostalgic for, you know, when it comes to all them old simulations that they did so well back in the day that are now part of the golden age of simulations, right? So anyway, long story short, they are working with the 100th Bomb Group Foundation on the B-17 game, and I will definitely throw a link to this in the video description as usual, so you can check it out for yourself. All right, Razbam must have been listening on my last Flight Sim News when they teased us with that one little picture of a cockpit, and I said, how about giving us something for real? Well, a few days later, apparently they did. On the 18th, they posted this F-15E Suite 4 Plus high over Port Stanley South Atlantic map, and they're showing off their little Falklands map, and at the same time, the F-15. Now, these are the kind of images I would love to see more of from these guys. Very, very cool stuff. And can't wait to see this, although at the same time, I still got to wonder actually when this is ever going to fully see the light of day. I'm hoping that maybe these guys were in the background just busting ass on this game the whole time, and then before the end of the year they're going to pop up and say, guess what guys, this is ready to go. That would be freaking awesome, wouldn't it? I'm not holding my breath though. This is Razbam we're talking about. They make great stuff, but they're not known for, you know, getting things, you know, done super fast. However, to give them full credit, they have been updating their Mirage 2000 and their Harrier modules very well over the past year. So, something else to think about. Like I said, I'm not shitting on them. I'm just saying I'd like to see this one sooner than later and a lot less, you know, renders and more of this. This is the kind of stuff we want to see, right guys? I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual so you can check it out for yourself. Alright, next up is a post from Leatherneck Simulations. It says, beautiful day in cloudy California at the San Diego Air and Space Museum. I want to say that is what, the Crusader, I think, by looking at it at a glance, and they're getting a little bit of information maybe for their module by mucking around with the cockpit and checking out the fuselage and whatnot. Very cool stuff. This is another one that I would really like to see sooner than later, but you know, I guess everything takes time, and Rome wasn't built in a day, so they got to do what they got to do, and we just got to wait. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual so you can check it out for yourself. Now, the guys over at 1C Game Studios have been quite busy over the past week with updates and announcements. So first up is Dev Diary 290. They go on to talk about the Mosquito. So they have a Mosquito as well, and it's going to be in the Battle of Normandy. And they go on to say it's coming along nicely. Some very early work-in-progress shots of it in the engine. Still much support work to do for it still. They need somebody to help them write these things. Still much support work to do for it still. Anyways, will initially be available to fly with 8 squadrons in career mode. Question: if it's made of polygons, is it still a wooden wonder? Enjoy, the Stormovic team. And then they posted a bunch of really cool images from it. I don't know about you, but that looks pretty freaking nice. Equally as much as the one that the guys in DCS are building. And I think I like the fact that with Normandy, you'll get a Mosquito and what, 7 other planes? Depending if you got the collector's edition or not to get the bonus planes, right? Very, very cool stuff, and as always, it looks fantastic within the Great Battles series. I will definitely throw a link to this in the video description as usual, so you can check it out for yourself. Oh, but it's not over. Same day, they announced the fact that the German SDKFZ 10/5 Flak 38 is now available on Steam with a launch discount. And then there's a bunch of images of it. I'm very tempted to jump in here and mess around with some of these vehicles. I just don't know if there's enough people on the ground, you know what I mean, to really make the most of this just yet. But it's looking like they're doing a great job of creating that entire battlefield environment, slowly but surely, right? Like first it was an air simulation. Now they have tanks. Now on the Great Battles side, they've added these vehicles. So it's kind of interesting to see how this entire Great Battles series has progressed and morphed into what it's become. Very kick-ass stuff. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, so you can check it out for yourself. And in final IL-2 news for this week, they've extended their Summer Sale 2.0 until the 31st of August, and they go to say that is the web store only. But as you can see with those prices, I'm telling you guys, if you're even curious about IL-2 and the Great Battles series, now's a great time to jump in on the action. Flying Circus 1 is 66% off, which is fantastic. I can't say enough how awesome those biplanes really are. And just getting into the entire, combat dynamic too, because it's very different, man. A lot of the same principles apply, but man, is it more challenging and more thrilling, I think, especially in VR when it comes to the flying circus planes. You really do feel like you're there. The sensation of flight is there, and they've just pulled it off. It's definitely something to experience in flight sims, for certain. And then in terms of the World War II stuff, you've got Battle of Baden-Platte at 66% off. But Battle of Baden-Platte really is, I think, the best one that they have out there at the moment that you can get your hands on. And then all of the planes are also on sale, as you can see. And then down at the bottom there, most of the campaigns are 75% off, not 50% off. And the last one, the Ice Ring, is 50% off, which for a new product, that's still pretty damn good. So check that out if you haven't, and I will definitely throw a link to this in the video description as usual, so you can check it out for yourself. There's a new campaign coming out for the MiG-21. It's called the Battle of Krasnodar. It has 25 story-driven missions, over 400 voiceovers, and a 70s unit set. A large variety of cap, CAS, intercept, escort, and anti-ship missions are included. Detailed briefings, kneeboard files, and documentation are available for each mission. And they go on to say the campaign will soon be available on our store and Steam. I will throw a link to this in the video description as usual, so you can check it out for yourself. And I think the coolest piece of news from this past week is all of the new juicy images from the AH-64 cockpit. They go on to say, a revolutionary attack helicopter and battlefield game changer. The AH-64 grew out of the U.S. Army's 1972 Advanced Attack Helicopter program. Identified the need for an attack helicopter that could outperform the Cobra in terms of firepower, battlefield effectiveness, survivability, and range. Primary mission would be to counter a massed Soviet tank invasion in Europe if the Cold War turned hot. With the need for better close air support capability evident from the combat experience in Vietnam War, the Army specified that the was to be armed with a 30mm cannon and 16 TOW anti-tank missiles, compared with either 7.62mm minigun, 20mm cannon, and just 8 air-to-ground missiles on the AH-1, and be able to survive 23mm AAA hits. That is a lot to say all at once, isn't it? And then here are the glorious screenshots. Absolutely outstanding. I can't wait to get into this one, guys. This is going to be it. It really is. Wow. There's some gun action. A little bit more close up. And back to the cockpit. Absolutely outstanding. Cannot wait to get our hands on this one, that's for certain. So, that is it for the Flight Sim News. As usual, I will definitely throw a link in the video description so you can get a hold of these juicy screenshots for yourself. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Feel free to hit that like button. And until next time, guys.